Gulls fans, happy off-season, happy December, happy holidays. Chuck, I can't believe we're already in December already. The year's flying by.
It sure is. Pulling in here, it's freezing outside. The sun's setting at 4:15. Yeah, it's not a good time of the year here in New England.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. Any Gulls fans keeping track of the days until the season starts? We got 173 on the line here, so under 6 months. I can't believe it.
173, counting them down.
Under 6 months. I'm going to start game planning for the game days soon here in January, starting all that fun stuff. It's crazy. But Gulls fans, we are back with the 25 for 25 podcast. It is a pleasure to have you all here. Chuck, I'm excited because this is going to be, obviously we've played around with the idea of having a podcast the past couple years. But I think in this capacity, going through, an episode a week over the next 25 weeks, having episode 25 release in June right before the season starts, I think it's going to give our fans a really good explanation of, what really goes on in the off season here, kind of in a way we've never seen before.
Well, I think it's appropriate because this year, as you know, is our 25th year anniversary of playing years. It's our actually 26th year in Newport, but we lost a year with COVID. So 25 years of history, we got a lot to talk about, a lot to prepare for, and yes, the timing is good to get prepared because I think this 2025 program you're going to do is be a nice segue into the season and create momentum going forward right into the season, and everybody will really be excited to be at Cardines Field in June.
Absolutely.
All right.
It's going to be like a little, Hard Knocks kind of thing for the Newport Gulls. It's going to be nice and fun. But quickly, Gulls fans, my name is Eric Lindley. I'm the Director of Baseball Operations for the Newport Gulls. I am joined here today with our guest, very special guest, our fearless leader, owner, general manager, and president, Chuck Pava. Today, we are discussing all things 25th anniversary leading up to July of this 2026 season, going through all things Newport Gulls, how we've progressed over the past couple of years to get to this 25th anniversary, and I couldn't be more excited.
I'm excited too. It's been a long 25 years, but a lot of great memories to share and to reminisce about. Eric, we've changed a lot of lives and done a lot of great things here in Newport in 25 years, and it's a nice culmination to what's going to happen here in 2026.
Absolutely. So the first part I want to start with, obviously, our fans know who we are, right? We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We play in the New England Collegiate Baseball League, and we started out in 2001. There's a lot of exciting things we have planned, but, other than the baseball team, Chuck, what are the Gulls known for inside of their community, our fans, our sponsors? Just give me a little rundown on that.
Well, when we moved here, when the team moved here in 2001, I was the general manager for two different owners in 2001 and 2002. Each of those owners had a different philosophy about how they wanted to run the baseball team. On the field, we did well. We won a championship both years. So we set a precedent in that regard. But in 2003, myself, Mark Horn, Greg Fader, Ron Westmoreland, and Chris Patsos purchased the rights to run this baseball club. And from that point forward, we just felt like we needed to be a community-based team with a mission statement basically of providing good, wholesome family entertainment while providing support for the community that supports us. So that was our basic fundamental mission statement when we started. And it's really elaborated since then, and we've really done some really great things. And in 25 years, we've helped a lot of people. We've done a lot of wonderful things, and really, truly, it's what makes us go at it every year.
Absolutely.
Because really, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time. But in the end of the day, the reward you get from all the great things that you do for the community, and you see the effect it has on so many families that come to Cardines Field to watch the Gulls play, and it's our reward. That's why we keep doing it every year, Eric.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to take it back to 2001 because I don't think a lot of people realize that we were originally based in Cranston, We were the Rhode Island Gulls, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. They were the Rhode Island Gulls for 2 years in Cranston.
Awesome.
And they played at Cranston Stadium. They had success on the baseball field, but they just didn't have a lot of success in the stands.
Yeah.
So the owner approached with the commissioner of the league, the mayor of Newport in 2001, Richard Sardella, and Richard recommended that they talk to me about getting involved, and that's kind of how this started. Got involved early November of 2000, and haven't turned back since.
Awesome. You know, I think you look back over the years, and especially someone like yourself who's obviously been here since 2001, since the team's come to Newport. You look at 2026 and what we have coming up, and you look back to 2001. How have you seen this organization change, and how has the summer collegiate baseball industry itself changed? And how, as an organization, did you adapt over the 25 years that have brought ourselves and the Gulls to now? You know, how has that, evolution looked? Because I think back and stuff, it's like, the interns, the staff, the volunteers. I think of, having 50, 75 plus people here every summer now. I can't imagine that's what it was like back in 2001. So how has that growth shaped this organization into what it is today?
Well, there's a lot there, Eric. When you think about when we started, we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
So to be able to communicate like we do today wasn't exactly easy. But in the beginning, we just really reached out to this community around here in terms of how do you get started hosting kids,
right?
Because you got to put them up. Mm-hmm. So we started reaching out to our friends first. Hey, buddy, we're bringing in a baseball team here. We need people to take these players in for the summer. Would you help us? That's kind of how we got started with our host family program and building the organization the same way. Mm-hmm. We reached out to all of our personal friends and said, we need a transportation director, we need a host family coordinator, we need a media person, and an official scorer, a PA announcer, and so on and so on. So we developed a volunteer base in the beginning, and that's how we operated for the first 5 years or so, using volunteers, and the host family program was critical to our operation here. We couldn't play here in Newport without host families.
Absolutely.
So once we got that started, the community fell into this because they all saw what a great product it was. They saw Cardines lit up at night and life brought back to that grand old historic park. And it just really, the momentum picked up itself. The community helped, and we had so many wonderful people over the years contribute to the success of this baseball team.
That's awesome.
It's so hard to remember them. I mean, it really is so many people.
Right.
And we're blessed to have all those people and all those host families host these kids over the years.
Absolutely. They're the rock of our organization. They really are. Like you said, without our host families, without our volunteers, without our support group, the Newport Gulls aren't the organization they are today. So it's so heartwarming to see how a community is so backing of a baseball organization like ourselves, because obviously we're not making any money off of it. We're putting it all back into the community. We're doing everything we're doing is for the justification of the community, whether it's our summer camps, our reading program, our winter clinics. Everything is geared towards the community. How was that community first mindset kind of developed? Well,
I think a lot of people don't really realize how much we do give back to the community. And in the first, 10 plus years we owned this team, we gave back over $1 million worth of support to the community. And really, that's why we run this baseball team. We don't use it as a financial windfall for us, because we don't take money from this team. We use the money to do good things.
Absolutely.
Whether we're sending 250 young kids to a Gulls camp, which they would never be able to go to. Mm-hmm. We give away, $3,000 in high school scholarships every year for worthy kids to go to college. We've done so many other meaningful contributions to wonderful causes that, I think the community sees that, and they want to get behind you.
Absolutely.
They see the great things you're doing both on and off the field. It's a great night at Cardines. The kids are role models in the community. They see them at the YMCA. They see them doing reading programs. And they just intertwine with this community, and the community just embraces them back.
Yeah.
So it's a good marriage almost, It's the community supports this baseball team, and we use this baseball team to support the community.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of a
nice relationship.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. And again, I said to you earlier, what drives us every year to continue doing this is the reward you get from doing that.
Exactly.
So 25 years, we've done a lot of wonderful things.
Absolutely.
And speaking about evolving, the host family program, like I said early, was everybody that we knew. And they helped us get this organization going. But over the years, some of them stayed with us for a long time. But then you started having to reach outside that comfort box that you had. And we started just looking for host families, and so many families over the years have stepped up to help us out. Families in the military, families that have young kids who might be playing Little League Baseball, and just over the course of retired people, just over the course of a long period of time, we had just had some wonderful people
Absolutely.
open up their homes to take care of our kids. And in the relationships, of course, that you build from all that has been what drives that part of the organization.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, it's such a commitment, right? Because these families are literally opening their homes to strangers almost. And it's that trust factor that they've built over time with our organization, specifically you, Chris Patsos, and the entire board. And it's just so cool to see how far that trust goes. And when you look at it over a time period of 25 plus years, it's wonderful, and it's a blessing.
And we're in a pretty high demand area too, Eric. So these host families can be, they have relatives visiting, or perhaps they can rent a room if they wanted to. We're so lucky to have so many people embrace these kids and take care of them for the summer like they're their own. And I think that's one of the big positives about playing for this baseball team. When those kids go back to their respective schools, they tell everybody, I had the best host family. They take great care of you, and it's a great place to play, and a big part of that is the host family program.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple host families the other day, and I know of a couple kids from our team last year who were coming down to come visit for the holidays. And it's that kind of relationship, that kind of connection that again, it's so heartwarming, and it's so nice to see.
It's wonderful. I can tell you, Eric, I've heard so many wonderful stories over the years, just remarkable stories of our host family and the players getting together somewhere in the country, going to weddings. I've gone to a number of weddings of kids that I host at my house. My whole family's gone out to Seattle a couple of times. It's a pretty special relationship that you can build with a young man. Yeah. And I see it with the other host families. They go to see their colleges. A couple of years ago, the Hanley family went down to Austin Pay, and they got introduced before a game, and they threw out the first pitch. I was like, how about that? Yeah, so just so many stories, in 25 years. It's hard to remember them all, but they're really wonderful.
Absolutely. So I want to rein it back to the baseball side of things here for a little bit. I think back to 2001, and I can't imagine, you have the kind of connections that you do now. How did that evolve, and how did you, continue to build your relationships within the coaching world, the summer baseball industry, first coming to Newport in 2001, and how did that kind of look when you were first starting out?
It's a good question, Eric, because in the very first days of this baseball team, we had to turn over stones because nobody knew who the Newport Gulls were. Yeah. So we had to call everybody and convince everybody that I would say call college programs and convince them or they should send us a player for the summer.
Right.
we were in the New England League, so that helped us get started, but you still didn't have any history.
Yeah.
So you had to turn over a lot of stones. And fortunately for us, to get started, our head coach that first year was Carmen Carcone. He coached the previous year in Cranston. So we had a lot of relationships already. I leaned on him right away.
Yeah.
And he brought back a lot of the guys that played on that Cranston team to Newport that first year.
Right.
In addition to that, he helped me with some relationships, finding kids in the beginning.
Yeah.
And him and I would go through them, and Chris Patsos, he was part of that process. And we put together that first-year team. And then, of course, every year thereafter, we had to turn over the stones. So the other thing that benefited us tremendously was the first 13 years or so, we played Team USA every year.
Yep.
And when Team USA came in here, they came in here with 4 or 5 coaches from some of the best programs in the country. So those 4 or 5 coaches that we never had a relationship with would come here, and they would come to Newport and say, wow, this is a beautiful place. Yeah. And then they would get to Cardines and go, look at this holy grail. You know, look at this stadium. This is Babe Ruth played here. And they'd walk around in awe of Cardines Field. And then they would say to me, Chuck, how do I get a player here? So every year was a different conference, SEC, the Pac-12, the Big 12, the Big 8 back then. And these power conferences and their coaching staffs would come here, and every one of them, after they left here, said, how do I get a player there?
Right.
And then that started getting out like that. And I remember getting a call from Mike Gillespie one time. He was the head coach out at University of Southern California. It was probably 2004. And he called me and he said, hey, Chuck, I heard so many great things about the Newport Gulls. How do I get a kid on your team? And I said, Coach, you know, I'd love to have a kid on from your program. And, of course, Coach Gillespie had he won a couple of national championships at that, prior to that. So the ironic thing is I wasn't convinced the guy he wanted to send me was a guy that we were going to take. So I said, okay, coach, I'm not really sure. So he ended up sending that guy to another team in our league.
Gotcha.
And that kid was the MVP that year. So the next year I called him.
Yeah.
Coach Gillespie, I'm sorry I didn't take your kid last year, but who do you got for me this year?
Yeah.
2005. He sends us Kyle Hankard. Kyle Hankard was the best player in the league.
Gotcha.
And he won the championship for us.
That's awesome.
I mean, basically.
That's awesome.
He was a special kid.
Right.
So anyway, that's kind of how that snowball happened. Every year is a new coaching staff. And everybody wanted to send us their kids.
Right.
And then that snowball happens where the players go back and say, hey, that's where you want to play.
Exactly.
And then all the other teams that come into Newport, they say, hey, that's the team you want to play for.
Exactly.
So over a long period of time, it's evolved into the opposite process for us. Right. We're not turning over stones anymore.
Right.
We're getting hit with a lot of stones.
Exactly.
And we got to decide which stones we want to keep and which ones we want to let go by us.
Right.
I mean, in that process, you're really saying no to a lot of kids, and that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Because now you're sifting through 1,000 names every year. Everybody wants to come to Newport.
Yep.
And not just because it's Newport, but because how we treat kids. We treat them like professionals. The host families they live with.
Yeah.
Remember how they get fed.
Exactly.
That's important to those kids.
Big one. Yeah.
So all those little things matter, and they go back and tell everybody that's the place you want to go.
Yeah.
So now you got to sift through a lot of names. You got to say no to a lot of kids, and you try to find the right ones. And many times we've been wrong. And a lot of guys that we say no to are big leaguers today.
Yeah.
In the big league. So been wrong many times, and we try to be right as much as we can.
Of course.
But that's how that's all evolved. Now it's the opposite. We're saying no to a lot of kids. Everybody wants to send us their best kids, and we just can't take everybody.
Right.
So we do our best to try to bring in good, talented kids, but also a big part of our recruiting process that Chris Patsos and I require is character.
Yeah.
Because these kids are going to be representing us in Newport, They're going to be living in homes that a lot of them are our friends.
Yeah.
So character is a big piece of our decision process when we take kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how you do that, sometimes a coach might call you, Eric, and he'll say, hey, this kid, Johnny Smith, he's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
He's going to be a future major leaguer. And you say, okay, coach, I'll get back to you on that. But then you call a kid that you know that might be on that team.
And it could be a different story.
And you might get and we do from time to time get different stories. So I'll call a kid that played for us and say, hey, listen, your coach wants to send us this kid next summer. What do you think?
Yeah.
And they'll say, great kid, or they might just tell us, not a good teammate, Chuck, doesn't work hard.
Right.
And then that gives us a different perspective.
Yeah.
Or just not a good character kid.
Right.
We won't take them.
Yeah.
So things have evolved, the whole thing's evolved. But yeah, in the beginning we had to turn over stones, and now it's now we kid.
Process, trust the process.
Yeah, you call his coach, call his teammates, is he a good kid? Where is he going to play for you, coach? Well, Chuck, I got 5 guys ahead of him, and I don't know if he's going to see the field this year.
Yeah.
Then, hey, coach, maybe he's not a good fit for us.
Right.
Because he's going to need to play every day, and every day he may not play here.
Yeah.
So all those factors, Eric.
Absolutely.
It's a process, but something we've Chris Patsos and I do very well over a long period of time.
Yeah. I think it's interesting how you bring up the fact that, it's how we treat these kids as well that's almost, even more important than the success that the baseball team itself is able to contribute every season, right? Obviously, being league leading 8-time NECBL champions, carries a certain weight of its own. But how important is it really, like you bring up, how we're feeding these kids, how we're housing these kids, how we're housing them with people that we trust? How important is it that they get the overall best experience here outside of the baseball specific stuff?
Eric, I think that, again, is a leading contributor to our success here, because one of the things we tell all of our kids, and one of the important things that we really want them to understand is we want to make sure that this is the best summer they've ever had.
Yeah.
Playing summer college baseball. You get to come to Newport, Rhode Island. You get to play in Cardines Field in front of a packed house every night.
Yep. You
get host families who just take great care of you, and we take care of them.
Exactly.
So they're our biggest advocates, our ambassadors, and it's how you take care of those kids, and that's how they're going to decide on how they're going to, whether they want to come back or what teammates they want to come here the next year.
Right.
There was a period of time we had University of Washington kids here every year, and they used to talk about in fall baseball who won the lottery this year, who gets to go to Newport.
Yeah.
And I'd hear that all the time, and I hear it from the kids that come here. And the biggest message we want those kids to hear from us when we have a first meeting every year is we want this to be the best summer you've ever had.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, Eric, there's probably maybe a handful of guys over the course of 25 years who may not say that.
Right.
But we have almost every kid that comes into Newport, whether they're a major leaguer or they played just in the minor leagues or didn't play at all in professional baseball.
Yeah.
But for the most part, most of those kids will tell us that was the best summer I've ever had playing baseball.
Yeah.
And then that's our reward again. That kind of makes, okay, we're doing it right.
Yeah.
We're doing it right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, obviously 2026 is the big reason, we're doing this podcast, and it's the biggest reason why all of this excitement is what we're gearing up for come next season. So first, before I get, what you're most excited for coming up, what can we give fans to expect in 2026 with our 25th anniversary? We're also going to have a Hall of Fame ceremony in that week in July 16th through July 19th. That's going to be our big 25th anniversary week. What's really the best things to expect there?
Well, it's the most important thing, as when we call it a reunion weekend, is bringing as many players back as we can get.
Absolutely.
We want players to come back from everywhere, no matter if they played here for 1 month, 2 years, 3 years. Come back with your friends, your family, your kids. Show them show them the great, wonderful place, and maybe they meet your host family, here in Newport. And so our focus, our goal is to get as many kids back here as we can. And from there, we'll have, team events, introductions on the field. And we're going to do something very different this year, and you just mentioned it, is a Hall of Fame induction.
Right.
So we typically do that in the wintertime as a winter event for the Gulls. And we usually try to do it every 2 years. We've lost our momentum through COVID, but we're back on track again. And I always thought, we do a wonderful event at the Marriott or another property, and I think it would be a real special event if we do it on our 26th anniversary or 25th anniversary weekend celebration, and do it on the field at Cardines like they do in Cooperstown.
Absolutely.
Because we do it in an event hall in the winter, everybody's inside, the speakers talk, they're up there for a long time. By the time the speakers are done, some of the people leave.
Right.
So I want to make this a really special Hall of Fame induction, not that the others weren't. But because it is the 25th year and we have an opportunity to do something at Cardines Field, I think it would be cool to do it like the Cooperstown Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. You have it.
And have Cardines Field filled.
Absolutely.
Have people come, instead of 300 people that paid to sit down and have dinner and listen to the speakers, have the Hall of Fame kids get inducted in front of the fans.
Absolutely.
And in front of the other players that have come back, which is really, to me, a big part of that.
Absolutely.
Getting former Gulls to come back here and seeing other former Gulls getting inducted into our Hall of Fame.
Right.
So that is kind of the emphasis behind having the Hall of Fame the same weekend as the 25th year celebration.
Absolutely. And I think it's something that the fans can really look forward to in 2026 specifically, right? Because when you take a look back on our other Hall of Fames that we've had in prior years, they've been relatively kind of not private, but almost, limited in scope. And to have such an event, where we can sit 3,000 plus people at Cardines for one ceremony, I mean, we're looking at, 10 times the crowd that those other Hall of Fame ceremonies have had in the winter time. So I think it's something that the community is really going to get behind as well.
Yeah, it's a good point, Eric. And quite frankly, families and kids who wouldn't normally go to a Hall of Fame event because you have to sit at a table and you got to buy a table if you're a sponsor, all that stuff.
A little bit more formal.
Yeah, absolutely. And this allows families and fans to come in, kids come in, and like a game night.
Exactly.
And we'll make it interesting. We'll make it fun. We'll think of some things that we can do to make that whole ceremony a nice Gulls event.
Yeah.
I'm sure you and your staff will be working on all that, Eric.
Absolutely.
Your great staff. And I think it's going to be a very special Hall of Fame event, very special weekend. We'll have a reception one night.
Yep.
And then we'll have things for the families to do during the day.
Right.
It's going to be special. I'm really looking forward to it. It's kind of my whole thinking these days.
Yeah. It's it's on my mind 24/7. I can imagine it's on your mind 24/7. And I even look at it, right? All the things I'm going to be planning over the off season, right? This podcast for one. I want to do a top 25 moments kind of thing. Obviously, we usually have our end of season, top 10 moments. But why not do a top 25 moments of the past 25 years, right? Maybe we're doing an all-quarter century team.
I was just going to say, how about a 25-year century team?
Absolutely.
That's going to be hard. That's going to be hard too.
There's a lot of
talent that's come through here.
Lots of good players to shuffle through. Even coaches. We can get coaches thrown in there. We can do the whole 9 yards.
But they can make it fun. I like that idea of throwing it out there, even to the fan base.
Yeah.
A different. Having them pick first baseman one week.
Exactly.
And next week it's second baseman, and you give them all the information they need to pick, and that would be fun. I would look forward to that. I'd be interested to see, for me, who the fans are picking.
Right.
Because, I get a different perspective than they do, you know, but that would be pretty neat.
Absolutely. So, Chuck, before we wrap things up, obviously, we're expecting to have all of our past host families, our past players, our past coaches watching this introductory episode to this 25th anniversary podcast. If there was one message you could share with everybody to just reinforce, how important this 25th anniversary is going to be coming up in 2026, how impactful the Hall of Fame ceremony is going to be this summer, how can we get people down here in Newport and make this 25th anniversary the best anniversary the Gulls have ever seen?
I just want to remind everybody, from the coaching staff to the players that have come here to the host families who've supported us, all the volunteers who've helped us over the years. And let's talk about the interns real quick too,
Absolutely.
please. But all the different resources that have made this team a success that it is, my message to everybody is, we all built this. You all built this organization together, and you all made this the organization that we are today. The players who have come here and the coaches that have come here, you guys have made us the best team in summer college baseball, and I don't say that lightly. I mean that, and it's true. We're one of the top best teams in summer college baseball because of all of you. So we want you to come back so you can help us celebrate these wonderful memories that you help us create. You've built this organization, so come back to the nest. Come back and see your fellow teammates or guys that played at another time. That you're a part of a family, that, because I've always told you that. So come back and see your family. Come back, spend a couple nights with us. Remember all those nights that we played together and we grinded together. Come back. And that's my message. We did a 20-year anniversary reunion. This is going to be much bigger. With a Hall of Fame event tied into that, come back, please. We'd love to see you here. We'd love to see your family. We'd love to see your kids. Ask your parents to come. So many of your parents have been here to support you. Ask them to come for the weekend. It's going to be a blast. A lot of memories, a lot of great faces, old faces coming back. Let's do this.
Absolutely. It's going to be tough to get Will Smith and Tom Edman down here. They'll be in New York, but it'd be cool to get them down here if they could.
Well, that's one of the struggles that we're going to have, because all the professional guys, the guys in the pro ball now, won't be able to come. Mm-hmm. Some may be able to because they have their all-star game, all-star breaks then. Yeah. If it coincides with that weekend, I think some guys would come. Mm-hmm. But the reality is those guys are playing professional baseball at the moment. The big leaguers, they won't be able to get here. Right. But, I know they support us. I get text messages from those guys all the time. Mm-hmm. I got a message from Justin Henry Malloy this summer. He sent me a text message. He was watching. He's a big leaguer with the Tigers. He's watching the Gulls play on his computer. So I'm like, okay. But anyway, no, my message is really just come home.
Absolutely. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about our intern staff over the years, because, you look at all of the operation that we do to get ready in the preseason and the spring leading up to the summer, planning our game days, planning our pregame ceremonies, planning the community events that we have when we're not playing, even outside those reading programs and the summer camps, the player and the mascot appearances that we're doing over the course of the summer. It's really never ending. What I don't think, our fans might realize initially is, how heavy of a hand our intern staff has on that, each and every year. And it's, one of those situations, and I think you can agree here, once the summer comes, it's really us more hands off, and the interns are kind of making everything run. So how important have the interns been to this organization for the past 25 years?
So let's talk about evolution again, Eric,
exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So when we started this team, we didn't have interns. There was no such thing as internships. Yeah. Somewhere in this process, 10, 15 years into this thing, internships were important to college students. Yeah. they have to do internships as they prepare to get a career job somewhere. And nowadays, it's what did you do as an intern?
Yeah.
You know, everybody in the sports world, in our sports management fields and media fields, an internship's required, and in a lot of different educational backgrounds today. But so this baseball team started with volunteers and people that we knew, and then we started with a couple of interns. Let's try this thing out.
Yeah.
And gave them responsibility. They worked with me personally in the wintertime, in the spring, to kind of build the season that you do now. But yes, we have completely evolved, Eric, from going from 1 or 2 interns, 5 interns, 10 interns. 10, I thought, wow, we got 10 interns. What are we going to do with 10 interns?
Well, we have about
but that was
30 of them
easy.
now.
That was easy, you know. I mean, they stepped right up into it, and quite frankly, Eric, you know, just like yourself, you started as an intern with us, and many of our interns over the years, this program, just like our baseball team, we're sending kids into professional baseball. Our interns are going into professional careers in their fields of sports management. They might not do baseball. Some have gone into hockey. Some have gone to the NFL. Some have gone to the NBA. Some have gone to the NCAA. Some have gone to Major League Baseball office in New York. So over the years, they've all managed to get into their fields, but it was because they had to do an internship. Now, we didn't give the interns that kind of responsibility in the beginning. You know, they were college students.
Right.
But quite frankly, Eric, as you know now, interns run this baseball team.
Absolutely, 100%.
You know, I don't do it anymore. And I rely on the interns and people like yourself to develop. You came in here as a sophomore in college, really not really knowing very much, Eric, and you've come a long way. Now you're running this whole program, and you do an outstanding job of it. But it's still the development of interns that we have here, and that's again our goal. You know, we're trying to get guys into professional baseball. Now our internship program is just as important.
Absolutely.
It's important for us to make sure they get a worthy experience here. We don't want interns going back to their schools or to their advisors and say, you know something, that wasn't worth my time.
Right.
I didn't learn anything.
Exactly.
We want them going back saying, you know something, I really learned a lot.
Absolutely.
In all different areas, because an intern that works in this office, Eric, is not just doing marketing. They've got baseball ops next to them. They got the media broadcast next to them. They've got other positions doing souvenirs and
it's the TrackMan, the data, the synergy, the analytics, all of that stuff. It's seemingly never ending.
So last year, Eric, you told me, I asked you how many interns you have. You said 27. I almost fell over. 27 interns, incredible. Running this organization today is why we're so good.
Absolutely.
And when I get down there now at night, on a game night, I'm not stressed out about all the things that have to happen on a game night because I'm not the one doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Interns are running around like elves. They do a tremendous job.
Absolutely.
And our broadcast team, quite frankly, is the best in the business.
100%.
Our media broadcasters, nobody like that in any team in summer college baseball, anywhere that has the cameras that we do, slow motion, graphics, replay. We were broadcast live on ESPN Plus. We have, commercials, and we have the very best in the business at managing that program in Tommy Lima and Mikey Bissell.
Absolutely.
So when you look at that kind of leadership and passion behind that broadcast, you're really appreciative of the quality that we put out. And frankly, when I have to travel sometime in the summer, I'm away in another country or something, and I want to watch the game, or I'm just at home and I want to watch the game, and I am amazed at the broadcast that we put out there. It's like a professional game on TV, and it's a big part of the internship programs that we have.
Absolutely. It's something I communicate with all of our applicants, whether they do come here to Newport to intern with us or, unfortunately, maybe it doesn't always end up working out. Regardless, the idea that, working in such a professional-like environment it means so much to this organization, and it means so much to the interns, right? Because like you said, we have gone so far beyond just, developing our players for hopefully their next step in their professional baseball lives, but we're developing our interns as well for the next step in their professional careers, whether that be, wherever it is in sports, in Major League Baseball, basketball, hockey, wherever it is. The experience that they're going to get here in Newport is unlike any other, because we try to make it as professional as possible for them to be able to carry over that, post-graduation and going into a career.
And you do a great job of that. I mean, the leadership you provide and the guidance you provide these kids in every area of this operation is, you got to run summer camps.
Yep.
The public relations and media department, our social media department, our broadcast team. I mean, we're doing a pregame show. We do postgame. Nobody does that in our league.
Nobody does that, no.
I mean, we're on early and we're off late.
Yep.
And the broadcast is awesome. And these kids get to come in here and feel like they're in the big leagues.
Absolutely.
So, it's all a big part of the big picture, Eric. And we're fortunate how this whole team has evolved, both on the field and off the field.
Right. At the end of the day, it goes without saying, the interns are, one of, aside from the baseball specific side of things, they're one of, if not the most important aspect of, everything that goes into the operation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think we're just about wrapped up. So, Chuck, I really appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah.
Gulls fans, super excited to continue this podcast throughout the offseason. Just a quick recap. Every single week, there will be an episode released for the next 25 weeks, for the 25th episode releasing on the first Monday of June. And I am beyond excited to join this process and journey with you all this season. Thank you so much, Gulls fans. And just remember, the Gulls fly forever together. Thanks.